Good evening, gang. It's Tuesday night, Tuesday the 26th of June 2021. A very good evening to you, and welcome to the Chapel Hill Marina. And this evening's United Kingdom talk coming to you on rather a sunny afternoon. It was been sort of overcast all day, no rain at all, and the sun came out, I don't know, around about 4 or 5 o'clock. It's quite a pleasant evening. It's quite warm in here at the moment. Now, before anyone's, oh, you've got a mark on your chin. Before anyone says that, I have a little, I don't even know if you can see it now. There it is. A little cut, which I did shaving earlier on when I had a shower earlier. And a shave as well. And it was actually quite a big scab on there, but I thought it'd be all right after a few hours, gone to bed, having my little sleep and that, but it's not. It's still a tiny little dot there. So if it starts oozing blood or anything like that, do feel free to let me know, boys and girls. All right, and that won't bother me at all. Thank you very much. Can someone let me know if Michael Lawrence appears in the room at all, my darlings? Just need to have a little word with Michael Lawrence, I think, today. If he gets in the room at some point, do let us know. There's a very, very special message for him. Good evening, gang. If you're here for the first time, a warm welcome along to you. My name's Chris Reardon. This is a little chat show, just a little bit of fun that we do 3 times a week on this channel. I'm not in a chat box at all. If you want to contact me, please send a text on that number there, 07451 287 337, or use the email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. There's a phone number as well if you want to call in a little bit later on. We don't usually open that early on. I have been opening it earlier on, but no one bothered to call in, so I'll hold on to it till later on, and then we can get through some more of the show before anyone might want to call in. If you don't want to call in, that's fine as well. If you don't want to text, as I always say, there's many more people sitting there quietly watching than joining in any chat boxes or texts. And wherever you are, whoever you are, whether you're joining in or you're not joining in or you just want to sit there, you're very welcome to our little warm programme that I hope to bring you today. If you want to send us a text, it's 07451 287 337. 07451 287 337. Maureen, if Maureen will be there, I would imagine, at the moment. Maureen, I've had a look for a song that you asked me to find on the karaoke. Hey Music Man, Peters and Lee. Can't find that either. You're quite right, I can't find that. There might be a way of doing it via YouTube, but it's very clunky to be able to do that. Sometimes people do say to us, have you got a certain karaoke song? And I'm look it up and I've got, no, I haven't got it. And then it's like, oh, it's on YouTube. It's very, very clunky to start mucking around with programs and changing this while you're doing a karaoke night. You see, that's the trouble. But that being said, it might be downloadable. So I'll look into that for you. All right, Maureen, darling. What else have we got here? A program I've seen on the telly by recommendation of my younger nephew, Jimmy. I'm just going to turn a little bit lower on the sound today, aren't we? Let's just push that up a little bit. There we go. So I don't want to blast your ears out. Is that a bit better? There we go. Hang on. Try that now. 1 2 1 2. Because the settings are different for the radio show and the chat show. Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a little bit better. Yes, my younger nephew recommended a program quite new to Amazon Prime. Now, I've got Amazon Prime. I've got the only paid services I've got really is Netflix and Amazon Prime. I've only got Amazon Prime because I pay for the Amazon Prime to have the parcels delivered free of charge. One of which I received yesterday. I received a parcel with brand new trainers, really cheap trainers, £19.99. And today, on my walk, I made a little video with the new trainers. And I told people, on the YouTube what I thought about them and all that. That's now on my YouTube channel. What you're watching this in sort of, the post. So have a look for that. Cheap trainers, $19.99 from Amazon. Very good as well. Can't fault them. How long they'll last is another thing altogether. I don't know. Maybe they'll fall apart after a few weeks. But for 20 quid, if you get 6 months out of a pair of 20 quid trainers, I'm happy. Well, I won't be spending £250 on a pair of trainers like some of these mugs. Jeez. There's a couple of TikTok videos, actually, and it says, where do you think rich people buy their clothes? Do they go to, like, what's the really dear one? Oh, that my mate's ex-other half likes. Oh, Christ. What are they called now? Yellow box. I mean, the boxes are like 30 quid. 30 quid for a box. Oh, Christ. I can't remember now. But they don't buy them from there. They buy cheap stuff. It's only people that want to try and look rich who buy this stuff. Can't think. Not Yves Saint Laurent. Oh, Christ. What's the name? Not even Ralph Lauren. Way up the scale. Anyway. They got £800 trainers, £900 trainers. They've got a little section in Selfridges. Can't think for the life of me what they're called now for some reason. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but they don't buy stuff like that. The rich people. I used to work in a pub which was opposite Primark, right on Oxford Street. And I went into Primark a couple of times. After I'd set up, I had a bit of time to kill. So I went into Primark to have a look round, and it's full of very, very rich Arab people. And they come over with suitcases and buy everything from Primark. That's what they wear. They don't need to try and look rich, you can look nice in Primark stuff. You can. The only thing is Primark has kind of killed off the jumble sales. Scouts and various different organisations used to use those things to raise a bit of money. Well, they don't anymore because everyone goes to Primark, don't they? Do you remember going to jumble sales and things like that, eh? Those smelly clothes that you'd have to wash 10 times before you could wear. Oh, they did stink. You used to go into a jumble sale and that blooming smell hit you as you walked in, didn't it? It was awful. But we used to buy this stuff and wash it and it was all right, That's good. Anyway, so that's what I did today. Is that a moth or a fly in here? Clarkson's Farm is the programme I wanted to tell you about on Amazon Prime. I've seen about 10 minutes of one today. It's Jeremy Clarkson, right? But he's now free of the shackles of the BBC. He can say what he wants to say. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. Has anyone seen it? Clarkson's Farm, right? So the programme starts off, Amazon Prime, as I say. It starts off and shows you the pictures, and it's got one of those hover things, that shows pictures of the whole thing, a little hover thing with a camera on it. What's it called? I don't know what it's called. A drone, that's it. Beautiful land, and it turns out it's his farm. Well, I didn't even know he had a farm. Okay, so he's making a programme about his farming. Except, and I just assumed, okay, well, he's gonna show us what he normally does. No, he hasn't got a bloody clue. Either that or he's playing the fact that he hasn't got a clue. Not a clue. Right? And he goes to see, I'll just tell you the first 10, 15 minutes of the programme. That's all I've seen so far. He goes and sees the people that work on his farm. I think they work on his farm for him, but he's never done it himself. And they show him this tractor, and he says, can you tell me what's the brake horsepower of that tractor? It's something like 40 horsepower. And he's like, well, what about this one? And he said, 55. Oh, is that all? So he then goes and buys this huge Lamborghini tractor. And this thing's massive, right? And he tries to back it into his shed. It won't go in there. It's this little yellow light is sticking up from the top. It is so funny. You've got to watch it. And then the bloke, I think, who gives him advice and all that, he comes to see the tractor. Well, what do you think of the tractor? And he's like, well, it's a bit big. Well, will it do the job? And the bloke says, well, it's a bit big. This thing's enormous. Because I suppose he's got a lot of money. And, when you've got a lot of money, it doesn't matter. You just buy whatever you want, don't you? Anyway, another bloke sits down with him and says, you need stuff to be able to plant seeds. Okay, well, what do I need? And he's got this list here. Well, okay, well, that's 10,000, that's 15,000, that's 5,000. And I think that the seeds themselves to plant, to make the little things grow, they come to like £10,000 or something like that, I think it was. I can't remember the exact figure now. And it turns out, before he's grown anything, he's got to spend like £250,000 on stuff. It's hilarious. So he then goes, what's the best way to buy it? And the bloke says, well, don't buy it new. And they went to this, it's so good. They went to this farmer's selling thing where they sell second-hand stuff. And he's looking at these machines. He said, well, that looks nice. I've no idea what it does. That looks nice. Well, I've no idea what that does. And then another bloke, he bumps into this other bloke and he says, are you a farmer? Have you come to buy something? He said, well, yeah. He said, are you a farmer? No, I work in forestry, right? And he says, what's happened to your hand? And this bloke shows his hand. He's got 3 bleeding fingers missing. And they're looking at this machine to buy. Oh, God, and he works in forestry. Clearly, he's had an accident with some sort of chainsaw or something else at some point. Oh, my God, it is so funny. And that's about as far as I've got. So please do watch that. Oh, no, there was another bit. So seed arrives. So this great big lorry turns up at his house, right? And Jeremy, he opens like a bit of the door, and there's all the great big bags of seeds, huge, but you wouldn't lift them. You got to have a forklift truck to lift them. So Jeremy's in there, he's lifting out these seeds, and one comes, and then one breaks. He puts it, I don't know if he puts it down too hard, seed all over the floor. And he said, well, thanks very much. He said, oh, there's more than that. And then he pulls back all this cover on this juggernaut and the whole thing. He says, and who are they for? He said, they're all yours. And he spent 5 hours getting these bags of seeds off the lorry. I've never seen anything so funny and good in all my life. And why? Because he's not under the constraints of the BBC. And he just says what he wants. Oh, there was something he came out with. I can't remember now. Oh, that was it. And again, you wouldn't see this on the BBC, right? There was a sign on something, perhaps on a lorry or something like that, and it said Savills. And he said, well, they could have come up with a better name than that. Please, if you've got Amazon Prime, watch that. Clarkson's Farm. I shall certainly be watching a little bit of that later after Holby City. Thanks so much to Fran for messaging me earlier. Holby City's on tonight, but it's finished now. We are no longer... You see, this is how popular this programme has become. They've moved Holby City so that we are not in competition with it because there was no one watching. Since we moved the show to Tuesday night, there was no one watching Holby City anymore. So they've had to move that now to finish just before this show starts. They were hemorrhaging viewers. I don't know what's on there now. Perhaps they're showing the test card or something like that, maybe. Anyway, so that's Clarkson Farm. I tell you what, I had a lovely cycle yesterday up to my sister's house. I was supposed to go up there yesterday morning, but as you know, I exploded the tyre on the bike, and so I didn't go. I had to take that into the repair shop because I tried to fix, once again, the old DIY foul. You know, I'm so glad I'm the source of amusement for you all, my darlings. I don't mind as long as I get you to smile occasionally. You know, you got the usual people on there putting negative comments. There's one person in particular who he's never ever positive. It's always some sort of negative, sly comment or something like that. Perhaps you know who you are. Do try and put a positive comment now and again, if at all that's possible in your sad, lonely, pathetic lives. Now and again, a positive comment. But I'm glad it made you laugh. That was the whole idea of it. I was trying to put an inner tube on a bike. Not an inner tube, a tyre. I bought a new tyre because the old one was bulging out. I don't want it to go bang or anything like that as I'm cycling along. Anyway, so I managed eventually to get this tyre on. What you saw in that video was the last 30 seconds. Okay? The entire thing, if I was to put it all together, believe it or not, is about 40 minutes long. 40 minutes long. I couldn't get the blooming wheel off. Right? Then I eventually realised it was the brakes holding the damn wheel on. Eventually I got it off. Getting the actual, the old tyre off, that was fairly easy. I had knives, but I used the handles. I'm not that stupid to put the sharp bit in. Even I know that. I was using the handles to lever it off and then just went round and off came the tyre. The inner tube was in a perfectly good state. There was nothing wrong with the inner tube. Okay, so I managed to get the other tyre on with great difficulty, I have to say. I had a great difficulty getting the new tyre on. Anyway, I put it back on the wheel and I pumped it up a little bit and it seemed to be all right. You know, I looked on the wall of the tyre and it says up to 85 PSI. Okay, so I've got my little thing like that. And I think I went up to 70 and I thought, yeah, that's hard enough. 70's all right. 70's hard enough. And then, but I mean that took about half an hour to do that. Really, half an hour. And then I thought, well, that's all right now. And I'm trying to spin the wheel round and it wouldn't go round. It kept getting caught. And I had great difficulty lining this wheel up so that it wouldn't get caught. In fact, I didn't achieve it in the end. I didn't actually achieve it because literally while I was doing it, for some reason, the tyre went bang. Not the tyre, the inner tube inside the tyre. It went bang. And a fair old bang made me jump. So I never actually got it. And at that point, I was just about to put the gun and just leave the thing. And I thought, no, take it to a shot. And I rang up a bloke in Horncastle. And he said, yeah, bring it in. So I took it round there. And he took like 20 minutes to do it. I said, do you want me to come back tomorrow? He said, no, I'll come back in 20 minutes. It'll be done, mate. And I went back there. And he had the wheel, brought the bike out, and funnily enough, it kept getting stuck, the wheel. So he made some more adjustments, and now it freely moves around. And how much was that? 10 quid. You know, why, oh, why did I put myself through all that hassle for the sake of 10 quid? I should have put the damn bike in the car and just taken it over there. Front wheel's fine. And again, again, putting that back wheel back on, of course, the gears. You know, well, how does that fit into that chain? And you're pushing this damn thing down. No, not a clue. Not a clue. Funnily enough, I've got a very good friend of mine, Ben, who's in Bracknell. He had some weight issues and decided to take up cycling. And he cycles 40, 50 miles now in a session. 50 miles. That's fair going. He's out for like 4 or 5 hours cycling. But he saw the video. He said, Chris, that's exactly why if I get any problems with my bike, I just take it down the bike shop because they're cheap enough. It's not expensive to fix a bike. Not like a bleeding car, you know. One smashed light. Yeah, thanks very much. That's £500 plus fitting. Thieving bastards they are, those car people, aren't they? £500 for a light. That's what what was it, that last light I broke? They wanted 300 quid for that. Just the part. And then they wanted another £150 to fit it. Shh. Fortunately, I found someone local who did it for me. Of course, I still had to pay for the part, which was like 300 quid. You know, like just a few little cluster of lights like that. Shocking what they get away with, isn't it? Anyway, so got the bike back here, by which time it was quite late. Mind you, on the way back, I thought I'd treat myself to some chips. There's a place called Mermaid Fisheries, which is like a fish and chip shop in Horncastle. And it's quite popular in there, so I stopped there. And I got myself some chips and some baked beans to go on top there. And I just drove round the corner and sat in this little... There was like a little car park, which is locked at night. Just a tiny car, but probably a dog in place, you know. You'd see people like John Parrish and Sherry in one of these places, I would imagine. Anyway, so it's kind of in a woods, if you see what it's on the main road. It's not in the woods. So literally, the main road is there. You go in a gate, and there's like space for about 8 cars or something like that, and a bin. And then there's a path from it that goes into the woods, and it says new cemetery being built here in 2019. So perhaps if I was to walk down there, you'd end up in a cemetery. I don't know. And I sat there and had my chips, and I turned the radio off, just sat there, and it's just all fields, you see. All fields and grass and woods to the side. Very nice sitting there, as it happens. That and a can of Coke, so I treated myself. Then I came out of there, and I thought, oh, this is a different way taking me home, because I still don't know. I don't really know the area. I know places to drive to now, but I don't know the area here like I would know where I live in Bracknell. So I started following my sat nav, and it said go up this way. I thought, oh, this is a nicer route. You know, it's much quieter the road, because all these blooming single lane roads, they're like 60 mile an hour. They're a bit mad, all of them round it, and people drive at that speed even when there's sharp turns. You do know that the most roads that have accidents are these single lane, 60 mile an hour country lanes. They're the worst places for accidents. I remember learning that once on one of those speed awareness courses. The safest roads? What do you think the safest roads are? Motorways. The safest roads are motorways. Lots of traffic, moving fast in the same direction. They are absolutely the safest roads, believe it or not. I know, it shocked me. Anyway, so I'm going up here, and I thought, well, this is very nice. And then I just happened to look at my sat-nav, and it said 3 hours, 40 minutes. And I thought, that don't look right. So I had another look, and I realised I'd put it in to go home. So not a very successful night last night, but I came back here, had a sleep, got up, and then I cycled to my sister's house in the evening, actually. I left here around about 6:45, got there about 7:45. Picked up my new trainers, which you can see in the new video that I've just uploaded. Picked up my new trainers, put them on the back of the car, on the back of the bike, and cycled back. At about 9 o'clock at night, I cycled back, and lovely cycling in dusk in the evening. Really, really nice. And all these swans, I thought, what? They look a bit funny. They'd gone to sleep on the water. They just float and go to sleep. I didn't know that. And also along by the riverbank, all the ducks are on the riverbank sleeping, and they don't seem to be bothered by me cycling past them either. Very, very different cycling at night. And I've got lights on the bike. Very important to have lights on the bike, actually. You know, I've got these rechargeable ones. You just plug them in for a while. I think the light goes red when you have to recharge them. But they've been on the bike. When did I put those on? It wasn't last year. It was the year before. I can't believe how quickly time is going now, you know. So quickly, because it was hardly up here at all last year, of course, due to the pandemic. But those lights I put on that bike about 2 years ago, I've only charged them up once. It's all right, isn't it? They've got a little USB thing you plug in there. So that was my nighttime cycling. Anyway, let's see if we've got a few messages, 1 or 2 messages to read out to you on the show today. Hello to Johnny F. Hello, Johnny. Johnny F, he's been making some pictures of, he made the BBC News picture and the one of someone reading the newspaper with the picture of the exploding tyre. So good evening to Johnny F, well done to that. Hello to Diane Jebb, good evening Diane. Good evening to George Bond. Hello to lovely Mark Bowles. Good evening Mark. Oh, there's Michael Lawrence, there he is. He's here. Hello Michael. How lovely to see your little face a bit. Well, not your face, a message from you. A message. And I'm so pleased that you've turned up on the show tonight because I have a little message for you. A little birdie has sent me something. Perhaps you'll have a little look at this. Now, what does this say, Michael Lawrence? I do believe that's your name, dear. It says, hope you feel better. So obviously, talking to Mick's obviously not well. I don't know anything about that. He says, the show last night was so dull. He always talked about Mark. Is that right? You know, if you was to go through my 1 hour, and I think it was slightly shorter the last show, wasn't it, Michael? My show that's approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes long on the last show, which was Sunday night. I wonder how much. So what's 1 hour and 45 minutes? So that's 60. Is that 90 minutes? 91. Is that 90? 60? 60, 75, 90, no, 90, 105 minutes. In that 105 minutes, how much do you think we talked about Mark, Michael? Just a little question. How much in that 105 minutes or whatever it is, 100 minutes, whatever it is, how many minutes of that do you think we were talking about Mark? 1, maybe 2 at a push. Huh? I think it's the case that you're a little bit jealous there, isn't it? That you're not getting as much attention as the delightful Mark. But then, of course, you don't look like that, do you, my love? You know, I mean, you can only dream of looking as good as that, and that is why he gets the attention, and you don't, my love. Sorry about that, Michael. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Let's just show that to everyone again. How rude. Hope you feel better. The show last night was so dull. Dull. Apparently I was dull last night. Or on Sunday night. There you go. So there we are, Michael. There's the reason for that, my love, okay? Get yourself down the gym, you know. Make yourself look a little bit fit like that. Oh, let's bring up the picture again. Just in case you missed it. I know you do like to look at this, Michael. You know, get yourself down the gym. You know, get yourself a nice little hoodie top, roughen yourself up a bit, and you might get a little bit of attention on here. All right, my love? Thank you, Michael. Good evening to... I don't go in that chat box. People send me stuff, believe me. Believe me, people send me clips of photos of the screenshots of stuff. Evening to Sherry Parish. Hello, Sherry. He says, good evening to you and all your viewers. So happy to see you again. You look younger tonight, by the way. It must be the jacket. Younger? I wish. Cool. I look in that mirror sometimes, Sherry, and I think, thank God I don't look like John Parrish. That's what I think when I look in the mirror. Thank God I don't look like John Parrish. Good evening to Ray Reynolds. Evening, Ray. Hello to Fran Green. Oh, it's Johnny F's birthday tomorrow. Johnny F's on the Reach on Air. He's probably on. Is he on the radio tomorrow, maybe? I think maybe he's on there tomorrow. Hello to Gary Ross. Have you seen the news about Amazon dumping stuff they can't get rid of, like TVs and laptops and mobile phones, instead of donating them to schools or youth clubs? No, I haven't seen that. I do know you can buy stuff off Amazon that has been returned. Now, that's called Amazon. I think it's Amazon Warehouse. Amazon Warehouse, that's called. If you type in Amazon Warehouse, that stuff people have sent back, can often get it cheaper. This camera that I'm talking to you on at the moment, this is one of the more expensive webcams. Although for some reason it seems to give a better picture than those cameras they're using on GB News. I'm sure you'll agree with that. But this camera is quite an expensive one. But on the Amazon Warehouse, I bought that. Someone had sent it back, and I got it for like 80 quid cheaper. Always worth having a look at that there. Good evening to Jason Hughes. Hello to Jason Hughes. Oh, John Parrish says, evening bicycle man. Love the trainers. Far too cheap for me. Been waiting for you all night. How sad is that? And he says, hope you don't mean me being negative, dear. I'm only a teaser. Well, I don't know. Don't know. I will not mention the name of the person that I think it is. He also says, when I saw you uploaded a video on YouTube earlier, I got all excited, made a coffee and some toast to watch it comfortably. You can imagine what I saw when I saw a 20-second clip of you throwing a spanner up in the air, so assumed you'd failed miserably replacing a simple tyre. Yes, of course. Of course, I failed miserably. Like with all DIY things, John. You know, you're good at doing DIY things. What you're not good at is looking good like me. We all have our thing. We all have our thing. I think, now, when was that sent in? Was that sent in? Oh, that was sent in this morning for the radio show, was it? Evening to Maureen. Good evening, Maureen. That's okay, my love. I did have a look for you. And Rachel, quite rightly, and I totally agree with you, Rachel. Rachel says, what have I told you? Don't dare do DIY tyres. You're absolutely right, Rachel. I agree. Don't do DIY, end of story. You're so right. My nephew, throughout his kind heart, he always comes. If I say I want something done, he's round here like a shot. And my brother-in-law. They're round here like a shot. He put up a little wooden thing for my curtain, and it's solid now. And I know, had I put that down, probably half the bloody wall of the caravan would have come down as well, wouldn't it, eh? Michael Lawrence says, sorry about the message. And Mark, I was a bit fed up. I am sorry. Well, that's oh no, I'm not. I would never attack you, Michael. I'm just pointing out the message so that other people can see it, darling. There we are, my love. Please. And that's why I'm not in a chat box. That's why I'm not in a chat box. It's very easy to chat in a chat box. People tend to think before they send a text message or an email, which is a fact, isn't it, Michael? Don't worry about that. It's all taken in the light-heartedness of this show, is my darling, the whole thing. And Mark says, just comical. Poor Michael, he could only dream of looking like me. Thank you. All righty. If you're sending a text, if you're new on the show, George has sent. What's George sent? Oh, George sent in a video. When did you send that in? 9 o'clock. Well, I can't show that now, love. Too late, darling. John says, I must admit, Chris, I always dream of looking like you. So does Sherry. Sherry also hopes that one day John Parrish will look like me. I think that boat has sailed, to be honest, John. It's just one of those, once it's got, like my hair, once it's gone, it's gone. I'm seriously considering getting a professional haircut next time. What do you think, gang? Shall I push the boat and spend £15 on a proper haircut? I have now been cutting my hair for over a year with my bzz, and I don't like doing it. I hate it. It's awkward, and my head is always sore afterwards. The advantage, of course, to cutting your hair at home, I think, really, is the fact that you can immediately jump in the shower afterwards and get rid of all those prickly little hairs. Oh, isn't it horrible? You come out the hairdresser and it's gone down your collar and it's pricking your neck like that. And I'm not at that stage now where I can, like Mark Bowles can do. I can't now remove my top, at least not at the moment. I mean, I was sitting in the caravan earlier after my little sleep this afternoon when it warmed up. It's quite warm in the bedroom, and I went into the living room topless, and I FaceTimed my mate. And I was topless, do you know what he said to me? He said, "Is that your tit now hanging down the side?" And it was awful, innit? Awful. Need to lose the weight. I have been pretty good with bread. I haven't had bread for 3 days. That's pretty good. But I have had 2 extremely large bars of Galaxy dairy milk, Galaxy chocolate, which Stacey bought me. Well, I've had them both now. I had one yesterday for pudding, and I had one today for pudding. Thank you very much. Very tasty indeed. Good evening to Vera. Hello to Vera joining us today. On the show today, gang, what on earth happened to Pontins? And we've talked about this subject a couple of times, and it saddens me. Don't know if any of you ever went to Pontins. But years ago in the 1970s, we had some of the most wonderful times in Pontins. You can ask my sister. She'd say exactly the same thing. We went to Pontins many, many times throughout the 70s, all over the place. They had a lot of holiday camps in the 70s. Seacroft. If I remember rightly, Seacroft was the very first one we went to. I think it was in Norfolk somewhere. And I remember walking out of the holiday resort and we walked over to the beach one evening, and we were the only people on this beach. Seacroft, Sand Bay, Riviera, Brocklesham Bay. We went to so many of the Pontins, and I can't honestly tell you on one occasion where we were disappointed. Never. It was all wonderful. It was all in. So you paid your money. That included everything except, of course, beer and drinks like that. And it was a bit regimented. I'll give you that. In the morning, loud music would come on out of the speakers, telling you that breakfast was being served, which I don't know was 9:30 till 8:00 till 10:00, something like that. And you would the whole campsite would pour into this dining room. Waiters and waitresses bringing the food over. Decent quality food, very very ordinary food, right? And you'd have fried breakfast and all the most thing about the food at Pontin's that will always stick in my mind was the fried bread. It was to die for, this fried bread. And it always arrived. It was never cold. These big silver stainless steel things would be plonked on your desk, and you'd be on a table. 8 people would be on the table, so they tend to they'd mix people up. So you'd have 2 families on one table, and you'd get to know this other family. You know, halfway through the meal, one of the bluecoats would stand up on the chair with a microphone and start telling you the entertainment for the day. And then your meal would finish and you'd just leave. No washing up, of course. You weren't hungry. It was wonderful. Then you go and do some sort of day's activities. Perhaps you might want to leave the resort and go down the seaside or have a look around the shops or something like that, you know. Or you might stay and there'd be some sort of swimming competition or donkeys and stuff like that. Kids bingo in the afternoon. Then 1 o'clock you'd go a whole camp again back to the dining room for lunch, which would be like, you know, would be like a dinner. You'd have lunch. All this food used to come out, like roast beef and all that business, sausages maybe, mash, roast potatoes, vegetables, and it's just all there. And then again, you'd finish that, go and do some more activities in the afternoon around the site, perhaps pop back to the swimming pool, something like that. They'd have stuff going on in the ballroom, like talent competitions and knobbly knees competition. It was great. And then once again, back to the dining room at night time. I don't know, 6 till 8 o'clock, something like that. And again, you'd have another slap-up meal. Really. Once again, one of the blue coats, they'd stand on a chair with a microphone, tell you all about what was going to happen tonight, and they'd split the dining room in half. And you'd be competing against the other half of the room, Costello and Embassy. So you were either in Costello or embassy. And the whole week you were trying to gain points through various competitions that were happening on the site. And at the end of the week, they would announce the winners this week are embassy, and everyone would go mad. There's no prizes. It's just the whole competition thing. And then after that, you'd tend to go to the ballroom. And there might be cash bingo there. Cash bingo, you could play cash bingo. And then the evening entertainment would come on. There was never a DJ or anything like that. It would be like a band playing covers and bits of entertainment in between, like a singer, a comedian perhaps, a juggler, proper old school, like like all sorts of different entertainment, variety, all different things. And you might have two people on that night, a singer and a juggler. They'd come in, and the blue coats, they'd come on and do their thing, give you a little bit of chat in between, a bit of ballroom dancing going on. And at 9 o'clock, they'd have a thing for the children in the ballroom. They'd have a March of the Mods, the Hokey Cokey, something else I think as well. Can't remember what the other thing was. Anyway, we used to do this, and then they say good night to the children, at which point you had to leave the dance floor. You didn't necessarily have to go back to your chalets, okay? But you'd have to leave the dance floor. That was only for adults after 9 o'clock. That's what happened. There were no security people walking around. There was never any trouble. No one got pissed out their heads or anything. I don't ever remember anyone getting so drunk that they couldn't stand up. There was no security people there. There were no fights. This just didn't happen. People knew how to behave. And those younger people there will be horrified by this, but if you had a baby, you could take it back to the chalet and leave it there and come back to the hall. And at night time, they had chalet staff walking around all night long, at least until the place closed, which was midnight. Not 2 a.m. It closed at midnight. The ballroom closed at midnight. Entertainment finished, and you used to go back to your chalet. But between the sort of 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, they would have nannies, walking around the chalets, listening for any child that might have woken up and was crying, and then they'd come back to the venue, and then there'd be a big blackboard up then, baby crying in chalet 264, or something like that. And then you would know that your child was, and then you'd go back to your chalet and see what was wrong. That's how it worked then. No babies got stolen, not like that poor girl in Portugal, Madeleine McCann. There was none of that going on. Never happened. No one broke into the campsite and stole stuff. The chalets, they were perfectly acceptable. There was always a bit of a musty smell in the chalets, admittedly, when you first got in there. But the beds were comfortable. They were clean when you got in. Someone had gone in and cleaned them. I could never say there was a dirty bathroom or toilet or anything like that. We didn't have kitchen facilities because we weren't cooking in there. I'm trying to think if we had a kettle in there. I don't seem to remember even having a kettle or anything like that, or a coffee machine. Did we have a TV? In the 70s, we didn't have TVs in the room. Didn't have televisions in there at all. And that's how it was. Wonderful times. You couldn't fault them. Butlins the same. We never really went to Butlins. Butlins appear to have kept on the game. They've continued to upgrade their estates and things like that. Pontins, on the other hand, I just keep hearing these stories. Did any of you go to Pontins at all? Anyone ever go to Pontins, and did you have a good time? Well, I've pulled out this story from the Daily Mirror, and once again, it's a sad, sad story, and it really does make me sad reading this sort of thing. In the Daily Mirror, a woman says her family holiday to Pontins was ruined by people smoking drugs and kids running wild until the early hours at the holiday park. Michelle Waddington, her partner Ian, and his children from Staffordshire visited the holiday camp in Southport for 3 nights, from Friday, June the 11th to Monday, June the 14th. She said she was also left disappointed when she claims a security guard refused to do anything. Now, when I say Pontins didn't have security guards, they did. But they were like at night time. I don't think I ever saw a security guard walking around during the daytime. They didn't need them. People just behave themselves. But she claims she went to a security guard who refused to do anything. Michelle then added, she asked him what his job actually was. She alleged he said, "A better job than yours because I don't have to holiday at Pontin." That was his answer. Now, we might not be getting the whole story. I don't know in what manner this woman spoke to the security guard, but I'm kind of getting an inkling. You know what people are like. So what's your job then? What's the purpose of your job? I mean, I'd be annoyed that he didn't want to do anything, and I would have gone to the manager, to be honest. I've just spoken to the security guard. There's drugs being smoked in chalet number 56, and they're not doing anything about it. I wouldn't want that. If I had children near me, I mean, I live life free. I used to go raving. So I know all about it, right? But I certainly wouldn't want people smoking drugs around my little children on a holiday camp. Would you? She told the Liverpool Echo it was supposed to be a well-earned break after both she and her other half, Ian, had worked throughout lockdown. Michelle said drugs were freely being smoked everywhere you turned. Kids were running wild until the early hours. Now, to be fair, Haven Holiday, I've seen this there as well. I've walked back to my caravan on Haven Holidays, when I've gone with my nephew and his wife, and I've, oh, what's that? It's that smell. And you know the smell straight away. People who don't know that smell often, oh, perhaps they're cooking something. They're not cooking anything, love. They're smoking something. There's only one thing that smells like that, and it's vile. Vile. God knows what these caravans and chalets must smell like by the time people have been smoking that stuff in there. And yes, indeed, children running around sometimes. People having arguments out in the road. Never saw this. This story in the Daily Mirror goes on to say people were drunk, no masks were being worn, bottles of spirits were being brought into the park and drunk in the entertainment area on clear show. Now, the entertainment area, you must think sort of in the terms of a pub. A pub, quite rightly, shouldn't allow you to bring in your own drinks. Are you taking the piss or what? How can you take your own drinks into a pub? They're running a business. You're sitting there with their lights on, with their entertainment on, with members of staff running around making sure they're cleaning the shit out of your toilet after you've used it. Who the hell do you think you are bringing your own drink into a pub? It's not right. And it's the same with the holiday companies. It's wrong. It's wrong. Anyway, it goes on to say the door guard didn't have a badge and refused to deal with the weed. He said it wasn't his job. So I asked him, "What's your job?" To which he replied, "Clearly a better job than yours because I don't have my holiday in Pontins," as I said. It was supposed to be a breakaway for me and both my partner. Upset by the situation, Michelle decided to make a complaint. She said, "I put a complaint in at reception because we left, but I haven't heard anything back yet." She said something needs to be done as Southport, which is where this particular Pontins was, is a lovely place which is being let down by Pontins, the whole area. Because, of course, it brings people in. Is that what's happening? Pontins is bringing in the worst of society. Is that what's happening? I'm sure it's not everyone. It says it comes, the complaint came just days ago after a group of holidaymakers were removed from Pontins at Southport after an ugly argument erupted. Police were called. Why would you want to take your family somewhere like this when you hear these stories? Police were called to the altercation last week in which one member of the unruly group threatened to launch someone off a balcony. For God's sake, man. One woman who did not want to be named said, "A lot of people's holidays were very nearly ruined by the disgusting behaviour of a few." Another guest praised Ponting staff for how they handled this situation. It's a shame these people haven't got tasers, really, isn't it? The Mirror has contacted Pontin's owner, Britannia, for comment, but they haven't. That's where this story ends. So that's in the Daily Mirror. And we keep hearing these stories about Pontins. And, I'd love to go back there. But you see, possibly like other people of my age who went to Pontins in the 70s and 80s. I don't know when it changed. You know, we'd want to go there and re-experience what we had. The trouble is, that's gone. It's of a time, isn't it? It's of a time. And that time has now moved on. The people have moved on. A lot of them are dead. Such as my mother and father, all dead. You know, I can't sit there on a chair and watch them do waltzes in front of me anymore. They're gone. The music has all changed. Even simple things like the lighting will all have changed. There's all these flashing lights moving around all over the place now. Very clever, but it's not what we had in the 70s. That's gone. So when you go down back perhaps to these places and try and recreate what you once had when you were younger as well, when you was a little person, no. You know, the holidays I've had with my nephew and his family and my niece and my family at Haven Holidays, they've been quite good. We haven't really seen massive amounts of fighting or anything like that. There was one particular Haven that we went to, and it was all right on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, Saturday and Sunday, oh, Christ. These people came in and I witnessed someone having a row because they weren't letting him into the entertainment venue at night because he was too pissed. And he's rowing away, and I thought, oh, God, we don't want to see this on holiday. And you go into the Haven Holidays, there's, I don't know, I would say maybe between 6 and 10 security guards actually in the entertainment complex, constantly watching everyone all the time. That's how it is now. That's society as it is now. It's a shame that we came to that. Couple of texts there. John Parrish says, so true, Chris. So many happy memories of holiday camps, holidays with all the family. Got me thinking about all the lovely times we had. And yes, we did, didn't we, John? May I ask which holiday camps you went to? Did you do Pontins or Butlins or what was the other one? Warner's was the other one, wasn't it? Warner's. I think Warner's. They were. I think we did a Warner's once as well. Their colour was a yellow, wasn't it? So Butlins were red, Pontins were blue, and Warner's were yellow, if I remember rightly. But they became adults-only holiday places, didn't they? They really did. Some of the stuff you see on the television over the years are people that were red coats and blue coats, and that's where they learn their craft, and they're very good at it. Was Bradley Walsh not a blue coat or something like that? The good ones on the telly have done something like that. The bad ones, right, have just been picked off reality shows and put on there. And they're crap. They're crap. Absolute crap. John says, have you ever been thought about going on the coast trip with Brendan? Be fun, plus you might just pull. No, not my cup of tea. I quite like Brendan. He's quite funny, isn't he? Is that still on? I haven't seen that for a few years, actually. Coach trip with Brendan. That is very funny. If you're in a chat box trying to send me a message, I'm afraid I'm not in there, gang. You need to send us a text, please. 07451 287 337. Or you can email in Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Here we go. John says Pontins and Butlins, just like Heidi High it was. And it was. Those of you that don't know, going on a Pontins or Butlins holiday was just like Heidi High. It was a happy place. People went there to be happy and to be entertained. Now they just go there to criticise. Oh, the food's a bit cold. Oh, there's mould on the walls. I don't really think we ever saw mould on the walls. I do think you can't have that many complaints without there being something definitely wrong. You know, it's not just the occasional story. These keep coming. There's a lot of YouTube videos made by people who have gone to Pontins, you know, and have been disappointed because of the state of their chalets. There was one person, there was all broken glass everywhere. Weeds growing all over the place. They just, it seems to me, whoever bought Pontins I had this discussion with my brother-in-law last night when I was sitting around my sister's house. A lot of, not just Pontins, everything. There's so many people out there that spend the littlest amount of money possible to give you as little as possible. Actually, it was the lady next door. And I go back, a good example of this, and I go back so many times to this one, of the Chain Bridge restaurant in Boston, where you ordered your chips and they came and you're like, well, where's the chips on the plate? And the answer is, well, that's a portion. That was about 5 years ago, that. Never went back. Never went back. How much does it cost to chop up 2 potatoes and put them on your plate? Well, that weren't 2 potatoes, sunshine. Don't take the piss, because people won't come back. I never went back there. Not only that, it took them an hour to bring us to bring us our food. You know, it wasn't that busy. I remember going to this place. It wasn't that busy. The Chain Bridge restaurant in Boston. It wasn't that busy, right? And yet, so how is it taken an hour? Over an hour it was. I think it was something like an hour and a half, if I remember rightly. How has it taken an hour and a half to bring? And even then, right, we're sitting there. We are observing at lunchtime, members of staff sitting there and having their lunch. Now, if I was running that place, your lunch fits in with how busy the restaurant is. That's how it works to me. That's how I understand restaurants work. If they're run properly, the members of staff, your lunch has to fit in with the customers. And if you're suddenly busy, you've got to go and do that first. Dreadful way to run things. Fran says, when I was younger, I went to Radio St. What's this? I went to Radio St. Peter's, she says. I don't know what that is. Radio St. Peter's at Trusthorpe, Butlins, Pontins and Beachcombes holidays. Oh, I don't know Beachcombes. Was that like a holiday camp, Beachcombes? That sounds that's a nice name, isn't it? Beachcombes. They were such great times. And John Parrish says that I recall Billy Butlins purchased his first camp from the government as it was an old army barracks. And look what they've done with it. But from what I gather, I never see these stories about Butlins. Yeah, in those days, you were either Pontins or Butlins. I don't know why. For some reason, Pontins had the better name at the time. For some reason, I don't know why that was. We always did Pontins. All right, but now it seems to have turned around. I never ever see a bad story about Butlins. Funny, isn't it, really? Sad how that's gone. Sad how that's gone. Anyway, so that's the Pontin story for you this evening. Talking about bikes and my recent experience of trying to change a tyre on the bike. You remember I told you it's now taken me 2.5 hours to get to work on a Friday night. That's when I leave my home. So to get there for 6:30, I now have to leave at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to do basically a 35 mile drive. It's a joke. The problem is I have to go from West London to North London. It's a nightmare. Incidentally, talking of that, one of the places I usually go around, although not always, depending on the sat-nav, is Shepherd's Bush Green. Well, that was all fenced off the other day. And it's like the only bit of grass they've got in Shepherd's Bush. What a dump that is. But believe me, you'd have trouble affording a place there. Very expensive. Because they've got all the shops, they've got the tube station, they've got Westfield Shopping Centre. So you go around this bit of green, and in the summer, you can't see the grass. It's the only bit of green they've got there. It's awful. Well, that's been fenced off, so I don't know what's going on there. I do know that a bit of crime happens there. People selling stuff. I've observed that going on there, and people being attacked and things like that. They usually put the fun fair on there as well. But certainly Friday, I've mentioned to you this Euston underpass several times. All right, where they've got this single lane. They've taken one of the lanes away. So we now have you can only get one lane of traffic from before the Euston underpass right the way until you get across the road and outside King's Cross station. It's now one lane instead of two. They took the bus lane away and gave that to cyclists. A whole lane. Not a lane, a whole lane. They then made the first car lane a bus lane, so the cars are now left with one lane. Right? And as it goes under the underpass, that's not for buses. The buses go round. They go round. So that lane going under the underpass, one of those is now for cyclists. Except you never see a cyclist down there. You don't. So this is an unwanted lane. Even the bloody cyclists don't want it. That idiot Sadiq Khan probably came up with this idea. Oh, let's make one of the lanes under the Euston Underpass a cyclist lane. I've yet to see a cyclist go down there. No one uses it. The cyclists don't want to come up the other side. They don't want the hassle of having to pedal up because it's quite steep. I'll give you that. It's quite steep, this. They don't use it. They go around with the buses. They go around the roundabout, which is on the top, and come back onto the road. How stupid is that? I mean, the level of stupidity of people running stuff now, including businesses and media organisations, is unbelievable. The level of stupidity with people now. You couldn't make it up, could you? You really couldn't make it up. So there you go. Just wanted to tell you that about I've yet to see a cyclist go down there. Maureen says, I've not been to any holiday camps in this country. I've been twice to Pontins in Majorca called Pontinental. Yes, I remember that. They had a couple of places abroad, didn't they? Pontins, and they called them Pontinental. I think they were at the back of were they at the front or the back of the brochure all those years ago when they had so many holiday camps, and I think 2 of them were abroad. Anyway, Maureen says, I've not been to any holiday camps in this country. I've been twice to Pontins in Majorca called Pontinental in Cala Mesquida, is it? They had dancing for us nightly, daily coach excursions. I went to a nightclub with them when the Drifters were performing. Saturday night at the movies. Oh, we love that. It was very nice. We had a meal there as well. Yeah, we didn't go Pontinental. I suppose they've gone now, the Pontinental ones, haven't they? They got bought up years ago and another company bought them and they just haven't looked after their places. I can't speak for myself. I haven't been. You know, I can only speak from some of these YouTube stories and the newspaper stories that I've been reading. Evening to Paul in Cornwall. Evening to you, Paul. All right. Vera. Oh, thanks very much to Dan Woodhouse. He's sending a picture. Pontin's Wick Ferry, 1985. Oh, my God. Is that you? Oh, my God. Here's a picture of Dan and his mum there. Hang on a minute. Dan and his mum. Let's get this out here. One moment, please. I've got to show you. Dan and his mum. Here we are. Oh, Dan. What a shame you got older. You might have pulled when you look like this, mate. Here you go. Here's Dan and his mum. What a lovely photo, Dan. I think you should possibly use that as a profile picture. He's sent another couple in. Here we are. Here he is dancing. It's a bit blurry, this one, but it doesn't matter. Hang on a minute. Take a photo. There's another one of him dancing with his mum. Oh, Dan, thanks for sending these in. These are truly wonderful. And one more here of him in the swimming pool when he was a little boy. And then that is your typical Pontin swimming pool, isn't it? There you go. Bless his heart. Look. Hang on. There you go. Wonderful. Thank you so much for those, Dan. And that's Dan on holiday at Wick Ferry in 1985. We didn't go to that one, Wick Ferry, funnily enough. That's one we never went to. Vera texts in. Vera emailed on Sunday night, actually. After the show had finished, she wrote in this email something for the show. So often people do send stuff in for the show, which I do appreciate. Thanks very much. I don't always use it. Just if I think, yeah, that'll fit in nicely, then I'll put it on, and other times I won't. All right. So it is appreciated, though. If you ever send anything in at all, thank you very much for that in advance. All right. Vera says, now I know this may sound a silly question, but this has been puzzling me for a long time. Now, the Bible. Who owns the Bible? That's a really good question. Really good question. She says the reason for this question is because when you buy the Bible in a shop, does the money go to the church? And if not, why not? I know that if anyone wants a Bible, they can go into any church and get a free copy of the Bible. Can they? Even I didn't know that, to be honest. Can you get a free copy? When I think of all these authors who make millions from their books, but the church makes nothing, it seems unfair. Do you know the answer or know someone who does? It would be interesting to find out. So thanks very much for that, Vera. And I immediately got to work. And I've got to say, I haven't really come up with an answer for you. There's all sorts of different comments and answers for this. I've just pulled out one answer for you. This is on a site called Quora, which, like you, people ask questions and people try to answer them, you know. Some people are very funny with answering questions, aren't they? You know, on some of those Facebook groups. Someone might answer, certainly on like some of the caravan groups. And quite frankly, people are just downright rude sometimes. Someone might say, oh, hello, you know, I've got a caravan and this is happening to my, I don't know, light socket. Can anyone help? And then someone will reply, if you read through the rules, it will tell you. If only people would read the things first before answering the same questions on here. I'm fed up with reading, and you get people like that on there, and you think, what an arsehole. You don't do yourself any favours by answering someone a question sarcastically. You just end up looking like a dickhead. I mean, you really do. Horrible. Just answer the question. Why don't they just answer the question? Of course, they haven't read the entire Facebook group where someone quite probably has already answered that question about 6 months ago. What do you want them to do? Scroll down for 6 months? This is the thing with like stuff on the internet, you know, when you're trying to find the answer to something, and it's downright difficult. You know, I'm afraid a lot of the time, gone are the days where you could just pick up the phone and ring Microsoft. Hello, I've got this little problem here. And, you know, someone on the phone with great intelligence of computers will be able to answer a question like that because they know. Because they know. But you don't know, do you? And you have to go on some sort of help file and scroll and scroll and scroll through all these answers, and none of them answer the question that you want to know the answer. It's true, isn't it? It's true. I can't be asked to sit there scrolling through endless answers to a question. It takes forever when you used to be able to just pick up a phone and a clever person, someone who's into cars or microphones. Oh, you know, want to do a podcast. Could you advise me on the best microphone to get? Well, if you look on the internet, yeah, we can advise you on the best microphone to get. There'll about be 10,000 for you to choose from. Which one do you want? You just don't know. Someone with great deal of experience in the particular thing that you're looking for used to be on the end of a phone. Now they're not there. Replaced by bots. How many of you use these chat boxes? Oh, Christ. Type your question here. Type. Sorry, we don't know the answer to your question. How much do we hate that? Absolutely hate it. And it doesn't seem to get any better, does it? But in answer to your question, Vera, I came out with this thing on Quora, and it says, many model Bible translations are copyrighted and thus place restrictions on the extent to which you can quote or reprint passages from there. Publishers retain rights to their translations because producing a Bible translation is an enormously extensive and expensive project. A single translation, I don't know, from Hebrew to English, I suppose, a single translation can represent years of work by hundreds of scholars, theologians and editors, all who are all far, far more intelligent than me, let me tell you, all of whom need to be reimbursed for their work. By retaining their copyright to the translation and asking you to respect that copyright, publishers are able to pay their translators and ensure continued translation work. And it goes on, that means downloading or distributing the entire text of copyrighted Bible translation is not permitted. Fortunately, most publishers do allow you to quote passages from their translations within a reasonable limit. You can find general copyright information at the bottom of all the passage pages. All right. And then it goes on to say, I think this answers your question a little bit better. If you're looking for a Bible without any copyright restrictions at all, you do have several options. Some older Bible translations are in the public domain. and may be freely reprinted, quoted, and copied without any restrictions at all. The King James Version is the most well-known of these. Now, the King James Version, am I right in thinking that's Church of England? Which would be very similar to the Catholic one, if not the same. I don't know. It says the King James Version is the most well-known of these. If you have the skills and dedication, there is nothing stopping you from creating your own Bible translation. There are online projects dedicated to doing just that. So it says, to sum up, Bible versions are copyrighted to make sure that the translators are fairly reimbursed for their hard work. Most copyrighted Bible versions have relatively lenient quoting rules that should cover most situations. But if for whatever reason the copyright rules prevent you from using the Bible as you like, you're free to use a non-copyrighted Bible version, which I'll admit isn't an exact answer to your question. I will admit that, but that's about the best I can do. That I did type it in, and I spent quite a lot of time looking through bits and pieces, and to be honest, nothing answers the question, who owns the Bible? You know, I suppose the original one, no one. But people look at it, they translate it. Would the original one be in Hebrew, I would imagine, or, you know, Hebrew? Wouldn't be Latin, would it? I presume Latin was translated from that Hebrew and then from Latin to other languages. Oh, it's very complicated, so I don't know. John says, my mate says he won't read the Bible as he knows he dies in the end. Yeah, it's not very exciting, is it? Well, don't read the end of it first then. More fool him. Shouldn't have read the newspapers at what was going to happen. Obviously, he's made the mistake of going to a Good Friday Mass. Oh dear. Hello to Jeff. Good evening to you, Jeff. Hope you're well, Jeff. Nice to see you and Linda there. Your caravan's looking all right, incidentally. I was having a little look around there. Hope all's well. Jeff says, hi, Chris. Hope you're well. Watched your unboxing of the trainers earlier. You say they came from China. Hope they didn't come from Wuhan. Is it Wuhan? As they were sprayed extensively, believe me, they were sprayed. Wuhan, you could have been treating the COVIDs. You could have been treading the COVIDs into the Lincolnshire countryside. Yeah, hope the swans don't catch it. Maybe that's what they were looking a bit odd yesterday. I have to say, well, I was cycling along the river, sort of night time, around about 9:30 at night, which was lovely. I mean, it was really nice there. I've been asked not to read that out. Thank you very much. Oh, you are awful, dear. Vera says, I found it long-winded looking it up too. Thanks, Chris. There you go, Vera. All right. Any time, darling. You want to send in an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or you can send a text. 07451 287 337 is my text number. Can you drive a lorry? Is it Gary or... It's Gary. Is it or Stephen Petty or both of them? I don't know if Stephen's with us tonight. Not if you are, Stephen. A very good evening to you, sir. But lorry drivers, they need lorry drivers. I kid you not. It's looking a bit dodgy for supermarket food and stuff like that. There might be a shortage. I kid you not. There's a story here. If I can blooming well find it. Hang on. Where is it now? Here we go. In the Daily Mail. This was in yesterday's paper. It says, British shoppers, there's a job here if you can drive a lorry. Or jobs. You know, I thought about getting a little driving job. If the karaoke hadn't have come back, I know I'm desperate. I really like to do 2 or 3 nights work, really. I can't be sitting at home at night time. And if that hadn't come back, I would have looked for some sort of job to keep me busy. Maybe a nighttime job, but I wouldn't want to go like full time. You know, every like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I don't think I'd like that. I would like to do maybe 3 hours a day, something like that. Keep me busy. I know B&Q take on older people, don't they? You see, the other thing is, if I go for a job, I've never written a CV in my life. Never had to do that. You used to go to a company and get an application form and fill that in and then get an interview. Or you just walk in. That's how it used to happen. All this blooming CV crap, dear. My friend Mike in Brighton, he used to interview people, and he said when you used to get the CVs in, one of the first things they do is look through their social media stuff now. You know, Facebook and Twitter, and you can find out a lot about a person. I mean, God knows what they'd think if they saw my stuff. We don't want this mad person working for us. But yeah, something like 2 or 3 hours a day, I could walk around B&Q, I don't know, putting stuff on shelves and things like that. I'd have to find something. Drive me mad sitting here at night doing nothing, or at home. Could only watch so much telly. Although Clarkson's Farm, anyone who's just joining us, good evening to you. If you watch Clarkson's Farm, that's hilarious on Amazon Prime, all right? If you're just joining us and you're trying to talk to us in the chat box, I'm not in there, please send us a text, 07451 287 337, or an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. If you've got any Americans watching, for some reason your texts don't get. It's only America that seems to have this problem, so you'll need to use the email, my darlings, all right? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Oh, and also thanks to those of you that are sharing the show on your various walls. And if you could just hit a little thumbs up like button at the bottom of the screen somewhere, that'd be appreciated as well there. All right. So the lorry drivers. Yes, the Daily Mail says British shoppers face a chilled food shortage crisis this summer due to a lack of lorry drivers and production workers, experts have warned. Now, I can drive. I used to drive a BT van, and they were big. They were like transit thing on the front, but the back of them was a big box. They were quite difficult to reverse. You couldn't do it just using your mirrors because you couldn't see out the back. If you wanted to reverse one of those, you literally had to get out and look behind you, walk round and look behind you. They were not easy to reverse at all. And we had the side mirrors as well, of course. So I used to drive one of those. But HGV, no, I haven't got a HGV license or anything like that. Otherwise, this might have well interested me. It says in the Daily Mail, a double impact from Brexit and COVID-19 pandemic is said to have sparked disruption to the chilled food supply chain, industry says. And it means suppliers are struggling to bring items to the supermarkets, with chilled food bosses warning a spate of late deliveries and failed orders. They haven't got the drivers to get them there. Amazing, isn't it? You see all these lorries on the road, they haven't got enough drivers. Chief Executive of industry group Cold Chain Federation said the situation was a bit of a crisis. Now, I must admit, I haven't seen shortages in the supermarkets of chilled foods. Maybe you have. There's a picture of here of empty shelves at, it doesn't say where it is. But of course, to go in the paper, they could have used any old picture, you know. I don't trust a lot of the media anymore. I really don't. I think a lot of them got their own blooming agenda now, to be honest, including the BBC. Very left wing. It goes on to say, Trade Association said that while there has been minor disruption, there would not be a shortage of food on the shelves. So it's interesting, isn't it? It comes as it's revealed that Morrison's is set to axe wholesale supply to independent convenience stores due to lack of lorry drivers. So they used to supply some of the little stores. And you've got to feel sorry for some of those little shops. You know, in particular, I think some of the Asian community who came over here, they got these little shops that you could go in all hours of the day and night. And they were always very pleasant to me when I went in. You know, you could get anything in there, albeit at a marked up price because they can't get the stuff at the same price as the supermarkets. Then the supermarkets decided to open all these locals and extras and fasts, you know, Tesco's local, Sainsbury's extra, and all these little shops. And they took all their business with that, didn't they? Took a lot of their business away. Shame, really. Shame, really. They're still there, though. Now they're going to have trouble getting their supplies. It's not fair, is it? Why should the big ones just have all the profits all the time? These Asian people who've got these little supermarkets, and others, to be admitted, but we always associate a small corner shop with the Asian people, don't we? You know, and they've worked hard, don't you have it taken away by these big boys? Why can't they have a little bit of the business? It seems so unfair to me. It really does. You've got this great big load of money going to less and less people. Look at Amazon. How many shops have they closed down? On the subject of Morrison's, it says the supermarket chain has closed wholesale accounts for independent retailers it supplies in order to prioritise its own customers. They said their move will impact fewer than 10 of its customers. Really? Sad. So there we go. You know, if you are a lorry driver, they're crying out for drivers at the moment. Come on, gang. Want to get my fat-free yogurt? Where am I going to get my fat-free yogurt? Terrible, really. Gary Ross, there we go. He drives a van there. Gary Ross. Do you drive a van or a juggernaut type thing, Gary? Are you small vans? I can't remember now. Can't remember what you drive, Gary. Small vans or something like that. Vera says the delivery at our store is getting later and later, which doesn't help us at all. So that's she works at Sainsbury's, Vera. I wonder why it's getting later. There's probably the traffic, Vera. God knows how these vans and things like that get through the traffic sometimes. No wonder it's getting later and later. Of course, you're in London as well. I'll just put the PayPal out. If anyone wants to send a tip, there you go. You can do that. There we are. That's the information there for you. The traffic and the fact that there's less lorry drivers, I suppose, would also mean that one person is having to deliver to more shops. But if they're driving those great big lorries, they're time limited, aren't they? Don't they have? They're only allowed to drive for so many hours, I think. Haven't they got a ticker tape? What's it called? A ticker tape thing in the lorry? A trachometer, something like that. They've got this little piece of card in there which records. Well, it's probably electronic now, actually. Which records the amount of driving they're done, and they're not allowed to go over certain hours, I think. Gary, I know that, Gary. Fran says fat-free yogurts with honey roast cusps and galaxy. I mean, honestly, Fran, you're defeating the object here. So you buy the fat-free yogurt, but with chocolate? No, it's not working for me, dear. It's like these people that go to McDonald's. Yeah, I'll have a Big Mac, please. I'll have a large fries, a vanilla shake, an apple pie. I'll have an ice cream as well, some mozzarella sticks. Oh, and a Diet Coke. Well, why have you bothered to do that? I don't have Diet. I just have normal Coke. I do. That's all right, isn't it, eh? Oh, you do make me laugh, Fran. You're sending a text 07451287337. We're out my phone line now as well. Which isn't open at the moment. Hang on a minute, I've got to do something on here to open that. It's very clever, isn't it? All I have to do is click a couple of things on the computer, and that opens the phone line. And I'll wait for it to come up, and there it is. Then I can put the number up like that. There you go. And call in if you want to. 0208 144 3477 is my local London number. If you want to call in about that or indeed anything else on the show tonight. Okay. We mentioned the Queen on the show on Sunday night, I think it was, and I said I couldn't remember whether or not she'd been to Ascot. Indeed, she did go to Ascot, it turns out. She went to Ascot, her first trip, one of her favourite racing addresses. She's 95 now. I said she was either 92 or 96. She's 95, the Queen. And I said that I think she had a mint dress, and guess what? She did. There she is. That is the Queen at 95 years old, right? It's unbelievable. 95 years old she is, and she looks like that. Isn't that fantastic? Eh? Who could ever dream of looking that good? Perhaps Mark Bowles would look that good. Sorry to have to mention him again there, Michael. But I think Mark Bowles would possibly look as good as that at his age, maybe. We've got a phone call now from Dan. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, Chris.
All right.
You should have held on a bit. You should have shown them Wick Ferry photos when I actually called in. Then I could have guided you through them.
What'd you say?
I could have guided you through those Wick Ferry photos.
Well, why didn't you send the instructions on the email then? Should have sent instructions then. Hold on to these before I come on the phone. Then you could have talked us through them. Wow. The only thing is I can't bring them up direct to screen, unfortunately. I have to sort of take a photo of them, as you know.
Yes. It was a grand place though. That at the time.
Was that the only one you went to, Dan?
It was Wick Ferry all the time up to about 1992, and then when Mum realised that she'd actually scraped together a bit more money than
Yes.
normal in 1992, that was the first time we went away actually to Jersey to the
Oh.
Merton Hotel.
Oh, right. Was that a Pontins?
Oh no, this was the Merton Hotel. It was no
Right.
holiday camp. It was a proper posh hotel.
Ah.
I mean, let's face it, it was so posh. It was the only time in my life I ever actually had veal for dinner.
And did you feel quite out of place there? Did you, Dan? I would imagine you would.
No, because there were some nice girls there as well, you know.
Oh, did you cop off there? Did you?
Well,
No.
I was only age 12 at the time.
So
This was 1992.
there must have been some nice 12-year-old girls for you.
Well, probably what it was. Yeah.
Did you have a
I
little
think I
kiss
did,
on the
Mark.
cheek or anything like that?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I think I might have done then. You know.
Oh, bless.
And what then happened?
Children are funny. You do see children, little children that fancy each other. It's always quite funny watching that because no one knows what to do. They don't know how to talk to each other or whatever. It's quite funny seeing that sometimes.
Yeah,
Little
and then
children
everyone
fancying
thinks they're
each
in
other.
love, don't they? And then they go, "Oh, you got a boyfriend now, or you got a
Yeah,
girlfriend
yeah.
now," and all that. And the kid goes, "Nah, we're just friends."
We're just friends. Do you want a boyfriend then? No, they smell. I don't want boyfriends. They like that, aren't
Well,
they?
that's true. That's true. They do. Just got to walk into the boys' changing room at school, like I did when I was a kid. You know, just go in the bloody changing room and you think, "Oh, jeez," because all boys at school all stink of football, don't they?
Well, it's
Sure they
funny
do.
that you should
Except
say
me,
that because
I never did it.
it's funny because we used to play. We didn't do football at school. We did rugby. And oddly enough, when I used to go into that change room when I was a schoolboy, I quite liked the smell. Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
But
well.
anyway, you was talking about holidays.
Yes.
And we got as far as, well, we had Jersey 92.
Yeah.
93 was a move to what was then Warner's. It's now Haven, Millrife, Hailing Island.
Right.
And that was nice. And then Wick 94 was the last time we would ever go back to Wick Ferry because it was absolute. It had gone. That was when it really had gone right downhill.
Oh, really?
Paint peeling
Yeah.
off the doors and all everything you hear about in the papers. That had happened then.
And
you
that
know,
was
1994.
94.
Yeah, and then
Gosh.
the 95. That's when my mum was given a free holiday for the following year. So
Yeah.
95 was then Breen Sands, and.
Sorry, what was
Yeah,
the whip
and the
for
same
then?
thing.
What was the whip for then?
That was what I think of Breen's Pontin's overall these days. Really, is anything Pontin's like
What is
Yeah,
is there like
you know.
whiplash stuff going on at these places? Is it those special parties that people go to?
no,
is
that
it?
was that was saying to me just doing a fake gobbing then.
Are you into that sort of thing, whipping and all that? Is it, or you know,
No, just fake
got a little
gobbing.
leather outfit of you, my love?
Oh no,
That's okay. We're all adults here, you know. We don't mind talking
Yeah.
about this sort of thing. What other sort of things do you dress as? Little French maid's outfit? Have you got?
I don't
something
dress
like
as
that?
anything. I just dress as the Dan. I just dress as the Dan Woodhouse,
Do you?
like the East End Cockney spiv that I'm supposed to be, or
Really? What,
no,
no leather stuff, no, or anything like that. Suspenders?
No, I
I could see you in a pair of suspenders, you know, large, obviously, but I could see you in a pair of those and maybe stockings, fishnet stockings.
I just couldn't do any dress up anything that I'm not. You know, I'm not like
Yeah.
I'm not that sort of.
I mean, I
I'm
just
sort
want
of
to
like,
put it out
I'm sort
there.
of-
I want to put it out there.
You know,
if-
you've heard of Del Boy. Think of me as Dan Boy.
I'm struggling, to be honest. I mean, if Mark wanted to
Struggling
me
to
wear
think of Dan as
suspenders
a
and
Dan
stockings,
boy.
I certainly would do so. He'd only have to ask.
Hang on, just run that by me again. You went a bit too quick there.
Oh, sorry.
You are thinking.
I'm just
Thinking
saying,
of-
you know, if Mark Bowles wanted me to wear that sort of thing, I'd order it straight away in, you know. I'd order it straight
would,
away
yes.
and put it on and send him photographs of me in suspenders and things like that. In fact, there is one here somewhere, I think. I have the old calendar from last year, which you may or may not have seen. No, actually, this is last year's calendar of me with my black fishnet stockings on there. dressed in
Oh,
a
hang on,
little
I've got to see
nurse's
this on the
uniform,
screen a
and
minute. Hang on.
you
Because
know, I'd heard
you?
that Mark Bowles had secretly ordered this calendar, right? And Tina, his girlfriend, had found it on that page underneath the bed. And it looked like he'd spilt something on it. We're not quite sure what it was, though.
Yeah, hang on, Chris. Can we just get back that November bit a minute?
Yes.
Bring back that November.
Yes.
Obviously, you're out of sync on the screen.
Well, of course it would be.
I saw it there for about 2 seconds. You look more like Sue Pollard as Peggy from IDI. There he is. Yeah, that is more like a Pontin's. Maplin's.
You don't think I could have my own OnlyFans sort of in that little outfit or something like that? I mean, the stomach's sticking out a little bit there. It looks like I possibly just had a baby. And if you look very carefully, boys and girls, you do actually see a little bit of leg there where the stocking didn't quite go all the way up. Can you see that there? You know, yeah. Anyway, carry on. Carry on with this very interesting phone call.
With holidays. Yeah,
Huh?
Well, with holidays. Actually, I never told you about what happened that thing at Wick Ferry that year. I think it was 1990.
Yes.
When we found where they was hiding the bingo blower.
Oh,
or at least
bingo
I
blower.
did. I knew where it was hidden.
A
It was hidden in the DJ pit.
A proper bingo machine, not like these electronic things.
Yes, the actual.
Wonderful.
Yeah, with 90 multicoloured balls, and of course, so you just you realise, I plug it in there, didn't I? And then I switch on here by what that was like, that light switch. Oh, and then off it goes away. And then, but you knew. See, I knew. There was normally most bingo blowers have got a catcher on the top. So when the ball comes up, it's held in by this catcher until it's pulled out. Well, this one didn't have it. I knew, obviously, hold your hand there to stop the balls going
Wonderful
over the shop.
You know, I had one.
And then, of course,
I had one.
Yeah, yeah. What, the actual standalone one, or that there's
a standalone one.
Because there is a flat version.
I saw it advertised on Loot newspaper thing, and it was advertised for £100. So I bought it. This bloke bought it around in a van, and I took it into the living room, set it up, and it stank. It stank of smoke and beer. Of course it would do. It come out of some sort of social club, right? And I turned it on. I think I had to do something to it. I can't remember what. But I turned it on. Yeah, that's it. I put a new light in it. Turned it on and give it a good clean up. And all these balls were swirling round. And I think I pushed a lever or something, and then the balls started coming up. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought, this is fantastic. Now, because I was already doing bingo, but I used a computer program. I thought I'll be able to use this. And then it was a sort of large, heavy thing. And I suddenly realised I wouldn't be able to get it in the car. And even if I could, it would need 2 people to move it from place to place. So very quickly I sold it. I had to sell it on because I couldn't use it. Yeah, so disappointing, really. I think I sold it for 120. I made 20 quid on it. But nevertheless, I had to sell it on. Again, someone came around in a van and took it away. Very disappointed. Just couldn't use it. You can, of course, get tabletop ones, but they are hundreds of pounds to buy, brand new ones. They literally sit on a table and all the balls are going around, and it's wonderful, really.
Yeah, but be careful with some of them. You're not talking about that, but it's mostly, I think, is it a red colour one that you make?
Yeah, that's
it's
right,
a new one. I don't like them ones I've seen. There's not, with a proper bingo blow, you need some depth, right, to actually make the balls. To get the ball.
You need some what?
They're so shallow that they don't seem to have much impact. I don't think. I don't really.
Okay.
There is another one though that's tabletop, which is known as the rotor throw. It looks like a bingo blower, but it's not.
Right.
There's no air involved. It actually uses an old record turntable.
Oh, is that right?
Old record turntable. Yeah, and then that's got a bigger disc attached to it.
Right.
And then as you turn it on, it does actually turn just like a record turntable. That turns, and there's some access hole at the side where only one ball then can come out at a time.
Yes.
And it works like that, and that was called the rotor throw.
All right. No, I don't know that one. Don't know that one at
Yeah,
all.
they are around the internet. You might
I,
want to see one after the
I would
show.
want some sort of glass box so that you can. I mean, I don't do bingo now, but I would like a big. If I was doing it, a big glass box so that it's visual as well as playing the game. It's visual. People seem to
Yeah,
forget these people that create things seem to forget that we want something visual as well. This is similar to taking the orchestra away at the Eurovision Song Contest. You have removed something that looked fantastic on the stage with the violins going up and down. But now all you've got is a few singers and dancers. It's sacrilegious to have ever done that. Although that's been like 15 or 20 years now, they haven't had the orchestra on there. I always remember seeing that. And it's the same with these bingo machines. These electronic ones are very good. You push a button and a number comes up. Of course, you can get software to do that. I have some myself. I can do it like that. Push a button, a number comes up. But it is not the same as seeing someone sitting there in a sparkly jacket and pulling balls out of this glass box where you can see them all floating around. It's part of the night, isn't it?
well, yeah, but the only thing I'll give to my Lee's bingo with the automatic claim checking, with all those tickets with the numbers I've had to actually all spend many millions of man hours actually putting into the software so that it shows the claims on the screens. It is quicker that way. See what people like now in bingo, because people's like concentration span is getting less and less and less.
Oh God, I know that.
What it should be, oh, it's true. What it should be is a case of like you're playing for a line, the claim comes up, and then you shout, "What's your panel number?" They go 1628. Go 1628. Boom, and yep, that's correct. Anymore? Right, one winner. Go on to two lines now. Next number, and then same with two lines. Right, onto the full house. Next number, and it keeps going like that with rhythm and rhythm. With the bingo blowers, you see, you've got to keep stopping and then reading all them numbers, and no one listens. No one listens when you read them numbers out. Or go 3, 18, 28, 30, and everyone go, "Oh, come on, get on with the game. We know he's won. We just want to play, and all that."
You
I'm
see,
jumping around the room.
I just think all that stuff going on around you is part of it. Waiting for the member of staff to walk over to the person with the card and start reading the numbers. That to me is part of the evening. It's just all taken away. You're quite right about people's attention spans. Most people only watch this show for approximately 4 seconds. That's just how it is now. You've only got to go around and sit with any of my great nieces and nephews and watch how they consume YouTube. They don't watch a whole YouTube video. They'll watch 30 seconds and then they're looking for the next thing. They can't wait to watch the next one. There's no attention now, none. And it's the same with adults, I think, really.
Like that.
But I'm
only
just
watching for the music, really.
I'm guilty as well. And half the problem is these blasted smartphones. You've got to put that out of reach while you're watching a telly program. Otherwise, you don't watch the whole telly program.
Never
mind, eh?
But actually, it's the final.
Now, aren't you
fling, Chris,
doing bingo on Sunday night or something?
Oh, that I haven't actually had any. I've had absolutely no response. I've given people the thing, if you want to join in, but because I think what's upset it.
What?
Because when you put it as a Facebook event, right? Because it's obviously supposed to cost £7 for each person, so that there's a prize pool for people to win something. Unfortunately, because it's on YouTube, it's been set as obviously an online event, as in there's no actual venue for it. Facebook deems any online event as free.
Right.
And it's took my secret sister Penny out to make me to actually draw the attention of Dan.
Just a moment. Just a moment. I've just got to stop you for one moment because something important has happened. Can you guess what that is?
You've had a proposal from Mark Bowles?
I should be so lucky. No, it's better than that. No, it's not as good as that, actually. Nothing could be as good as that. It's this. John Parrish has sent in a £1 tip. Thank you very much, John Parrish. It's very kind of you. Said I should check the PayPal as well, actually, because sometimes I don't get like a message on the PayPal until afterwards. And I always try and make sure that I thank people who have kindly sent something in. So I'll have a look at that as well. Just in the obscure chance that something's coming in, and I can play the jingle then rather than have to wait for the next show. But sadly not. No. Thank you very much. Carry on, dear. There we are. We've thanked John Parrish now for his little tip there. Thank you, John. Carry on.
Lovely. Where was I? Oh yeah, I didn't say the one about the what happened after that thing with the Wick Ferry bingo blower.
Yes.
Is that there's me admiring it, lovely, watching all these balls dance, and then of course I thought, hang on, is someone coming? Quick, turn it off, quickly, run away quick, or walk away quick, and I actually found that it weren't any like blue coat or whatever. It was actually just another kid.
Oh right.
And of course I'm walking away, and I look round behind me, and I saw this kid go exactly in the DJ pit where I'd just been.
Right.
And he's turned the bingo blower on. And I was about.
Did you go back and hit him?
Oh, I didn't do. Well, no, I didn't do.
Oh,
a thing.
why
I
not?
thought I didn't get it, but I don't know. He's only a kid, can't. But the thing is, he did exactly what I did. Turn the bingo blower on.
Yeah.
But he didn't know, Paul, because he's about like 3 or so years younger than me. He didn't know you put your hand over the top of it because there was no catcher.
So did all the balls come out?
So I looked round and I heard a whirring noise. The fan started, and all these balls got whip, 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 whip. And I thought, quickly get out of here, Daniel. It's nothing to do with you. Just get out.
How funny is that?
Yeah.
I don't suppose you could get to these machines now. It's surprising when you think about it how lax. I mean, you could have put your fingers in a socket or something and been electrocuted. They've all everything's locked up now because it just gets nicked. How sad is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Everything
probably. I
has to be locked
think the year after or the last year we went to Pontins, I think I did try to take another look in that DJ pit just to see if the bingo blower was still there, and
Did you?
they put a barrier across it so he couldn't even look over it to see what was
What a shame.
there.
What a shame, isn't it? Never mind. We had a good time while it was there, didn't we?
Yes, we had a good time. It was good while it lasted.
Yeah. All right, Dan, thanks for calling in tonight. So listen, is your bingo going to happen? So, could it still happen if people buy the tickets? Have you gone?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, isn't it?
Eh?
It's Wednesday tomorrow, isn't it? Like,
yes.
I think I'd have to have about 20 people playing at least,
Right.
and it's not. So I just say it's cancelled now, but just to insult anybody who's not listening tonight.
Hang on a minute,
Gary.
Gary.
Sit there on Sunday
Just a
in
minute,
front of
my PayPal has just flashed up. Gary Ross has sent in a tip as well today. We're in the cash tonight. Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you very much, Gary. Gary sent in a little tip as well tonight. It's very kind of you, dear. Let's put that back up there in case anyone else wants to see if we can make a bit of cash tonight. Thank you very much, Gary. And Leslie, of course. Did you, Gary, when you send me a tip, do you have to ask Leslie's permission? I just wondered. Anyway, carry on, Dan.
$5 out the porcelain chicken on the tabletop.
It's $5 round of porcelain chicken.
Yeah. But no, really, Chris, I might just to like wind up a few people who might not be listening tonight. I might just sit there in front of the telly on Sunday, because the good thing about the Leeds Bingo, the way it is now, you can actually act. If you're like a good actor like me, you can stand there and actually pretend that you really are doing it for certain people,
Right.
even though no one can actually see these people. If you're good at faking it, like I often am, you can pretend that you really are doing it. So
you've been faking it a long time, have you?
I
I would imagine if you had a girlfriend, she'd be faking it, to be honest.
Who is?
No, nothing. Didn't say a word. Sorry, missed you. What did you say?
Yeah, I've probably been managed to wind up a few people that pretending that I'm.
Are you still going to try and do it if anyone buys tickets?
Well, no, it won't, because you need about 20 people to do it,
right,
and
okay.
I'm not going to get 20 people in like the short amount of time.
Well, it was it was worth having a go, wasn't it?
Yes, and my thing is, if only they told me about this earlier. I mean, it was only last week when I got those coupons in from Garda Buzz that he had a national bingo. And I thought, what is the? I didn't know. But apparently, it's been a big thing in America for years, but it's never happened here. And they thought it's about bloody time we did have it here.
It's quite difficult to get anything going on Facebook or YouTube. When I see as I said before, I see some videos and they've had thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of views, and then you look and you think, why are people watching this? And you can't put your finger on it. I guess I think I do think certainly with anything to do with like showbiz, call it showbiz. That includes anything. Showbiz, anything. If you come and sing for me at karaoke, you're in showbiz, right? And then if you have your own YouTube channel or you're on BBC One, prime time Saturday night, Michael, it's all showbiz. It's all the same thing. I think there's a lot of luck involved in it. There's a lot of luck involved in showbiz, and for some people it just won't happen. It's just how it is.
I think maybe it's because some people think that they've got it and they really have.
Yeah. But if it makes you happy doing it, so be it. So be it.
All right. Well, I better say au revoir now.
All right, Dan. Nice to talk to you, darling.
Yes.
Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's Dan with his regular call in there. Everyone else want to call in tonight? Do feel free. 020 8144 3477 is the number. Just going back onto the subject of the old lorries there. And Vera says each lorry that she has are being tracked, and they have a certain amount of time to delivery before they can get to the next store. That's the other thing about all this tracking and business going on all the time. I think all the BT vans are tracked now. Of course, we didn't have any tracking like that. No tracking at all when we were there. We used to go and take all these jobs in the morning and just get on with them, really. That's how it worked. And as soon as we completed the job, we were going for lunch. I'll admit to you, sometimes we had 3 hours for lunch. More than one occasion we had 3 hours for lunch. But we got the jobs done. Now, every moment that you're working is watched. Someone's watching it on a computer. Oh, that's where he is now. Why is it taking him that long to get there? And it's all a bit like that. It's not the same, is it? It's not the same at all. Where are we? Gary Ross. He doesn't ask Leslie, apparently. They're not the exact words that he used. But Gary Ross doesn't actually ask Leslie when he sends me a tip. Thank you, Gary, for that. All right. Anyone else want to call in? 020 8144 3477. You saw the inner tube video of it going bang, didn't you? How do you stop hiccups? How do you stop hiccups? Is it like a sharp slap on the back, something that makes you scared? Well, again, the Daily Mail reporting this one. Holding your breath, drinking water from the far side of a glass and being scared by your friends. Well, they're all the ones that I've tried. I think out of those, perhaps the scared one. The trouble is, if you know that's the method that someone is going to use to try and stop your hiccups, you're ready for that scare. So it doesn't quite work as well. Well, there's a new straw. The Daily Mail is reporting on this new straw. He says, now scientists believe they have found the cure in the form of a straw with a forceful suction, which is available now to buy in the UK for £10. You can also get it in America. There's the straw. Looks a bit odd, doesn't it? Hick Away, it's called. Look at that. And it says it promises to stop hiccups instantly after 1 or 2 sips of water from the reusable straw. Branded Hick Away, its developers claim it works by creating pressure when you sip from the straw, which in turn lowers your diaphragm. This is all very technical, dear. It lowers your diaphragm and opens and closes your epiglottis. What the hell is that? I don't know. It tells you. This is a flap of tissue that sits beneath the tongue at the back. I don't know where it is. Its main function is to close the windpipe while you're eating to prevent food entering your airway. But when you hiccup, it closes and produces the characteristic hic sound. I must say it's something I don't suffer from. Do you suffer from hiccups? Is it something that some people get more than others? I wonder, like headaches. You know, I don't really suffer from anything really. Bit of asthma, itching when I get animals close to me, that sort of thing. I suppose. Yeah. It says two nerves are stimulated, researchers claim, telling your brain to reset and thus stopping the hiccups. So there we go. Let's have a look at that. That's what you want. Going to cost you £10. And they reckon that's going to stop your hiccups. That looks like it's a different versions. Oh, yes, I've got another picture here. They do different versions. Okay, that's the child's one. Perhaps that's a little bit more smaller than the other ones. I don't know. How funny is that, eh? All right. Any more calls now? Nice and quick, gang. We'll close the phone line in a moment. 020 8144 3477. Don't forget, gang, I'm not in a chat box at all. So if you're trying to send me a message there, I won't get it. Please send a text. 07451 287 337 is my text number. Here comes a call from George. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Chris.
All right. I haven't spoken to you for a while. Are you okay? I thought your nan might have eaten you.
No, I thought I'd have a bit of a rest from you.
Oh, right, okay. Are you having a rest from me, are you? Oh.
Yeah.
Did I upset you in some way?
No, it's just...
I must try harder then.
You was on about restaurants, weren't you?
Pardon?
You was on about restaurants.
Was I? Can't remember now. Go on.
Yeah. And I watch a program called Thought in the Bed.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I tell you what, unbelievable what you watch on there.
Go on.
They actually pull a quilt cover up to see if there's any hairs underneath.
Oh. And?
Half them yes, half them no.
Oh, that's not very nice, is it?
No.
Have you got hairs under your quilt?
No.
You're in your bedroom now, aren't you?
Yes.
Could you have a little look for me, George? Just to check there's no hairs in your bed up. I think it's very important.
No.
Because I think you might get insects in there as well. That's the worry, you see.
Yes. And they even go in the showers to check if there's any hairs in the shower.
Oh, I thought I'd just broken one of my teeth then.
Then they go at the top to see if it's dusty.
Right.
And, yeah, they're just unbelievable what you
Are they
find on...
dirty houses, aren't they? Dirty.
Yeah.
I'm sure your room isn't like that, George. I do think... Could you just pull back your... Are you in bed now? Are you hiding under the duvet while making this call to me by any chance?
No.
I think you are, aren't you? Where's your nan? Oh, you have to speak quietly.
Yeah, she's downstairs.
Is she? Is she watching me?
No, she's watching the football.
Oh. Is she a football fanatic, is she? Is she a hooligan?
Yeah.
Is she a football hooligan? Does she go down Chelsea and then chuck people off the tube train that she doesn't like?
No.
I can imagine her doing something like that.
Also,
Does she clean all the hairs out of your bed, George?
I'm surprised I don't actually have any hairs because I have my cat up here.
Oh, what cat? What type of cat have you got?
I don't know. It's a black one.
Oh, just all black?
Yes.
I like black cats. I like them.
Talking about cat, we might be having a kitten.
Another one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like cats, George.
If it's Ginger,
Yeah.
we might be calling it Gary.
Gary the ginger cat. Well, that's the one I've... But Gary, that ginger cat, its name isn't actually Gary, but I call it that. I call it Gary the cat. And it's very friendly. And I keep watching it on my security camera going to my house and waiting for me. But, of course, I'm not there. I'm not there. The lights are on, but there's no one home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to call it Gary. If it's black, we're going to call it Jess.
Jess.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this kitten from then? Or don't you know yet?
My nephew's son's mum's friend.
Oh, lovely. I wonder if you get like a black daddy cat and a ginger mummy cat. I wonder what colour they come out as.
Ginger black.
Yeah, I wonder how that would look. You must send in a picture of your cat when you get it.
Also, I was watching that hiccups thing you sent.
Yes.
It looked like half between a toothpicker.
It does really. It does look a bit like a toothpick, doesn't it?
Yeah, and a toothbrush.
Yes, I suppose it does really. Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
But it hasn't got the little bit on the end, what you'd put in between your teeth, does it?
No.
Bless. All right, George. Well, thanks for calling in tonight.
Yes.
Have a nice evening.
And you, Chris.
Bye-bye, George.
Bye-bye.
There we are. George calling in. We haven't heard from him for some time, have we? We'll close the phone line now. Thanks very much to those of you, both of you that called in tonight. Much appreciated. I wanted to show you the little video that I did, just in case you missed it. This is my inner tube going bang, okay? And my reaction to it. Just in case you missed this, here it is. There's not a lot of sound on here. Let's watch carefully. Remember, this has already been... Watch. And here's my anger. Just in case those of you that missed that, all right? Vera says, is it a plastic straw? We are supposed to be stopping plastic being used. I don't think it is a plastic straw. It's like hard plastic, isn't it? And presumably you'd keep really using that, I suppose. There's Mike in Brighton. Good evening, Mike. He said, I've just popped in to say hello. We'll watch the whole programme in the early hours tonight. George's hairy quilt has left me needing an early morning call to my GP for some pills. Chat soon. And that's from Mike in Brighton. So thank you, Mike. He's always there. Catching up on the replay later, aren't you? Thank you, Mike. Did you hear a siren on your phone earlier at all? Now, you would have had to be in a certain area. It says in a Daily Mirror, your device, your mobile phone, may make a loud siren-like sound and display an emergency message between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. today. So that's why I'm asking you now, as the new emergency alert system is tested. Now, it says here it was tested across the country. It didn't happen to me. I saw this first posted on Facebook earlier, which I mentioned, as I say, on the radio show earlier. And they've got this new system that they're testing out, and it will make your phone whistle to attract your attention and put some sort of message up there, like an emergency message. I don't know, like, nuclear bombs coming over from Iraq or something like that. Take shelter. I mean, where we'd all go, I don't know. I haven't got much of a shelf to hide under here, I'm afraid. I don't think there's much point in running away from a nuclear thing, because once it goes off, we're all vaporised, gone in an instant. Weird, isn't it? Isn't that a weird thought, isn't it? To be just gone in an instant. Would you have any consciousness, I wonder, if that happened? Anyway, I saw someone post it on Facebook, and I never, ever believe stuff posted on Facebook or YouTube. There's a lot of those people that come out with crap. You know what I mean? People pretending they're, I don't know, members of the government or whatever, or doctors. People. I mean, I could just put a white coat on, and if you didn't know, we put a white coat, make a YouTube video and talk about coronavirus, and come up with all sorts of crap, and people believe it. I said, "Oh, yeah, but he's a doctor." I had it from my cousin. My cousin, when coronavirus first came out, Oh, no, but I've spoken to a nurse and she says if you drink lots of water, you won't get it. And I'm like, where do you get that sort of crap from? Oh, a nurse told me. No, she didn't. You've seen it on the internet. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just stupidity to believe something like that. It really is. Drink lots of water, you won't get coronavirus. Well, she believed it because she saw it somewhere. So I checked this on the government website and it was there. They've got this new system that can alert people and they're testing it out now. And I just wondered if you got some sort of siren go off on your phone today. It says Android. It was only the Android, not the iPhone, so I wouldn't have got it. Android phone users could have received an emergency test alert today as the government tests out its new disaster system. Already used in other countries, the alert will appear on your phone when a major crisis, fires, natural disaster, or a terrorist nearby has happened. The full system is set to launch later in the summer, and a series of test alerts are now being trialled over the next few weeks. So I don't know if you think this is a good thing or not, really. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Perhaps I could tap into it, and when I'm doing a show, force people to receive it on their mobile phones. We might get more than 20 viewers then. Happy days. Huh? Android users across the country may be sent today's alert, which will read, or which would have happened by now. This is a mobile network operator test of the emergency alert service. You do not need to take any action. I think this is a brilliant idea. I really do. I mean, thinking of an example here where I am in the caravan, I am very, very close to a river. Very close to a river. I remember one winter I was in here. The river was very high, and talking to people out there, and they said we're on high alert at the moment because of the height of the river. I'm not quite sure what would happen if it had come over. Does someone start knocking on your door or something like that? Well, if you had it on the phone, that's great, isn't it? Isn't that good or not? Do you think that's good? And that's it, really. It says a second emergency alert is to take place in Reading in Berkshire and will be more targeted than the Cross UK one, which will take place next Tuesday. So that's on Tuesday. They're going to have one in Reading, which is not too far away from Bracknell. Whether or not we're getting it in Bracknell, I wouldn't have thought so. So there we are. Is that a good idea or not? Is that open to abuse, do you think? Do you think? Evening to Ollie K. Good evening, Ollie. Hope you're well there. There's our little mate, Ollie K. Hope you're well there. Let's have a look. Here we go. Mike in Brighton says, on the subject of that, perhaps you should tap into the system. 3 doses of the Chris Reardon Show a week to keep your sanity at a high level. Fact. How can this possibly keep your sanity going? Is it because you watch this and you realise how insane I am, which makes you feel more sane? Do you know, I've got an itch on the back of my leg, and it's been on there since I went on my walk. Now, I did go through some high grass, but I can't see a bite or anything else on there. I don't know what it is. A blooming itch on my leg. Hang on, let me have a quick look. See if I can see anything on there. No, I can't see anything on there at all. No bite or anything like that. Oh, hang on. Yes. Oh, there's a tiny little spot. That could be a bite, couldn't it? Hang on a minute. I must check it's not a tick, because I don't... What's that disease you get from ticks? There's a disease, isn't there? Begins with L. Oh, I can't get my light back on there. Why won't my light come on? You have to look for a little ring, don't you, or something? Hang on a minute. There it is. I can see it there. Oh, shall I take a picture? Oh, hang on. I can't see it there. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's very, very small. I don't think it's got a ring around it. Let me try and take a picture and show you. Can you hear me all right over here? Hang on. 1 minute. Can't get a bloody button there. Hang on. No, I can't get it. I'll try once more. Things I do for your bleeding entertainment, honestly. Here we go, man. See if we can get that there. Well, I've taken a picture. I don't know if I got the spot or not on there. Oh, yes, there it is. Just about. There it is. You can just about see that there. There it is. It's tiny, tiny. I've been bitten, bitten. Rachel didn't get any. Rachel didn't get anything on her. Sorry, Vera didn't get anything on her phone. Let's hope I'm not on the underground when it happens. Yeah, haven't they got? I thought they had Wi-Fi on the underground now, don't they? Can't you use? Can you still not use the phone on the underground? I'm sure someone put in a system in there. Vera would spend £10 on that thing. If she spent £10 on that, my hiccups would definitely stop. That's the shock of it, dear. The shock of it. Rachel, thank you. Lyme's disease. Yeah, we don't want Lyme's disease. I don't know, but possibly better to have Lyme's disease than try and fix a puncture on a bicycle. I think, really, to be honest, Rachel. Oh dear. We're still taking texts this evening. 07451 287 337 for your text numbers. Check out free supermarkets. There's now a checkout free supermarket at Tesco. No checkouts. Tesco, I think Amazon haven't Amazon already got one of these? We reported on this some months ago, possibly in London, I think. In fact, actually, if I remember rightly, Apple, I'm sure it's the case you can go into an Apple store, pick something up, pay for it by doing something on here, right? And then literally walking out the shop. You don't actually have to go to the till. I'm sure there are alarms on the door to go off if you try to nick something. Mind you, I mean, how quick can you run into a crowd? I mean, I wouldn't be able to. But, you know, the dodgy experts that are out there that go around thieving stuff left, right and centre will be able to do it. I'm sure that's the case. You can actually go, I don't know what app you'd use. Is there like an Apple app or App Store? iTunes Store? Look at iTunes. What's iTunes Store? What do you do on there then? Oh, you buy music, do you? Oh, I don't do any of that. I tell you what, do you know how I put my music on here? I don't now. I never go on iTunes. I hate iTunes. Absolutely hate iTunes. That is the most unnecessarily complicated piece of software in the entire universe. Oh, it's awful, that software. You know what I do now when I want music on there? I've got Dropbox, literally. And I get my MP3s and I drag them into Dropbox. Then I open up Dropbox on here and I just play them like that. No need to put them on the iPhone. Marvellous. Of course, they've been able to do that on Android for ages. But anyway, back to this story here. Tesco's is to launch its first checkout free store after successful trials at its HQ. Plans are in the early stages, but the supermarket is hopeful it can match the appeal of scan and go outlets introduced by Amazon. I told you, didn't I? The chief executive said, "We have a system in our store in the Welwyn Garden City head office," which is like one of the new towns, isn't it? I say new; it's been there for some time now. It's been opened a year and it's working really well. We will extend that to another store in the coming weeks and months to test it in a more urban environment. So there you go. You know, even more people out of jobs now. Won't need checkout people. The trouble is, it doesn't get any cheaper, does it? When they get rid of all the checkout staff, the food will not get any cheaper. It's just the people at the top will have more money for themselves. This is the problem. It says machine learning is continuously improving, so we feel confident we can put it in another store with higher traffic. Tesco Stow's, and it goes on to how much they've sold. So there we go. That'll come soon, won't it? You know, no checkouts required. How does that work then? Does it take a picture? Does it say? It doesn't say how it works there. Do you not have to go through a self-service checkout? So, I mean, it doesn't say how it works. It says scan and go. Okay, so maybe you perhaps on your mobile phone or something, you know, as you buy stuff, you scan it or you get some sort of scanner, and then at the end you push a button, the money is sucked straight out your account, and you walk out the shop. Presumably, you literally. You pick something off of the shelf, scan it, put it in your basket or your bag. Or you finish your shopping, you walk out. You haven't got to do the self-scan at the end. And those bloody machines anyway are a pain in the arse, aren't they? There is an undisclosed item in the checkout area. Please remove this item and try again. In Morrison's, it's different in Morrison's. It says, there is a surprised item in the checkout area. Please try again. Or a surprising item. They changed the words there. George says, I got the phone call today, emergency, but my phone was in silent mode. Well, there's no helping some people, is there, George? He got the emergency call, but it was on silent. Oh, dear. Rachel says, I play my music using the Amazon Music app. Do you subscribe to that? I mean, I've got Amazon Prime, and I can ask, next door. Or on my phone, my Amazon app. If I can open that on the car and just say, Amazon, play me ABBA, and it will play me a selection of ABBA songs. I like ABBA. My sister loves ABBA. Always liked ABBA. Vera says they do that in Sainsbury's anyway. It's called stealing. Mike in Brighton, Media Monkey is far better than iTunes. Don't need it. I just drag the stuff into Dropbox and it's there. It's there. It's done. Dropbox. And you open Dropbox on here and you just play your stuff. It's marvellous. Wonderful. George says, I was at work. That's my phone was on silent. Well, there could have been a nuclear bomb on its way here, George, and you wouldn't have known. Where would you have hidden? You couldn't have got under your cover then with all the hairs, could you, my love? Hey? We love George, don't we? Talking of supermarkets, Audi have got the UK's cheapest ever school uniform. Frankly, I don't know how they do it for this. I mean, there's cheap and there's cheap. But Audi, I mean, it's probably a lost leader, I would imagine. So you're going there to buy your school uniform and you buy loads of other stuff as well while you're there. I'm imagining in that. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. But it's in The Sun, reporting budget supermarket Audi. Did I say Asda? I beg your pardon. Audi has launched the UK's cheapest ever school uniform, costing £4.50. I kid you not. Now, we know Audi and Lidl for their cheapness. There's a Russian supermarket coming over here as well soon, which reckons they're going to be even cheaper than Audi and Lidl. Well, I'll tell you what, you'd half notice it. When you always shop at Audi, and I swapped over a few years ago, as you know, when you always shop at Audi or Lidl, and then you go somewhere else after being there for, my God, do you notice the difference? I love Waitrose. I think Waitrose is fantastic. The way it's run, the staff members, the cleanliness, the layout. I love everything about Waitrose. But I went there a little while ago and I was shocked to find I had about 6 items and they came to 25 quid. Well, you can go to Aldi and get 3 bags of shopping for that. It really is that different, isn't it? Anyway, so they've got this cheapest school uniform ever, costing just £4.50. The package deal includes a sweatshirt for just £1, a 2-pack of polo shirts for £1.75, and trousers or a skirt for also £1.75. £4.50 for a school uniform. The range is available to pre-order online from July the 18th, so about a month's time, and you'll be able to buy it in store at Audi from July the 22nd. Uniforms are for primary school children, with PE kits and shoes also available. They also do trainers, don't they, in Audi? Trainers and those Croc shoes. Well, I imagine some of you with Croc shoes. I can imagine John Parrish with Croc shoes on. Is that right, John? Have you got Croc shoes? It says at such low prices, the collection is expected to... Oh, that's my mate going to bed. Let's just send him a message back there. Text message. Good night. I'm in bed with the cats, so I'm happy. Yeah, that stuff in Aldi does sell out quite quickly. You've got to be quick when they get stuff in there. I think they get stuff on Thursdays, don't they? It's Thursday nights it arrives, or Thursday mornings, one of the two. I think it's Thursday mornings. So you go in there Thursday morning, and all the new stuff that comes in is there. It says if you're shopping with a uniform online when it's released next month, you'll also want to keep in mind an extra £2.95. Oh, you can get it delivered. I didn't know Aldi delivered stuff. I didn't know that. So it could bring your total up to £7.45 altogether. Wow. That's good, isn't it? Children's sweatshirt, £1. Girls, boys, polo shirt, 2-pack for £1.75. Girls, boys, trousers or skirt for just £1.75. Unbelievable. You have to ask yourself, who's making this stuff? How much are they getting for that? Most people, that won't bother them. It won't bother them that someone's. You see, that's the whole subject of sweatshops, isn't it? We could sit here talking for ages about that sort of thing. On one hand, is it fair that they are earning an absolute pittance and sleeping 10 in a room and working 12 hours a day? On the other hand, if they didn't have that, what else would they have? Double-edged sword, really, isn't it? And then it goes on about the prices of other stuff, as does polo shirts are £1.25 more expensive. You can get the same bundle in Asda for £9. I mean, £9.50 even for a school uniform. Gosh. When I went to secondary school, we had to get my school uniform for the London Oratory. You had to go to Peter Jones for it. It's funny at the time. You don't appreciate it when you're kids, do you? I think I was 13 and we had to do this trip to Peter Jones to get my school uniform and the blazer and all this business. It must have cost my parents a small fortune to buy all this. And then, of course, over the years, more and more, as you get bigger, you need another blazer and all this, that and the other, don't you? And they were very, very strict on school uniforms, my school. Really. Why don't you appreciate this stuff when you're young? I don't know. Rachel said she loves Abatu. Have you watched the musicals? Yes, I've been to Mamma Mia. I've been to the musical twice, once in London and once in New York. Two completely different experiences. Exactly the same show, but it was the audience. The audience here in the UK, the end bit comes on and everyone's up and dancing. In New York, the only people that got up and danced were English. All the New Yorkers were just sitting there. They were enjoying the show, but they didn't get up and have a good time, which was the whole idea of the thing at the end. I loved it. Loved it. Ollie K, it says it's like when you walk into Lidl and ask for Red Bull and they turn around and say, "Oh, you mean Blue Cow?" Is that what it's called in there? Like they just make the same thing with a different name. That's exactly what it is, Ollie. And you look at all their products and they make them look like the originals, don't they? Hi to Paul in Amsterdam. Hello, Paul. He says, for some reason, self-serve checkouts over here don't faff about with the weight stuff, so no bagging issues ever. No idea why the UK ones have to be so picky. Thank you, Paul. Nice to hear from you tonight, Paul. Vera in karaoke had to go to Henry Taylor for my uniform. I don't know where that is. I don't know what Henry Taylor is. Is that like another posh place? She says, good luck to them with the amount of mess that people make with them in the school uniform. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you're better off to bet cheap stuff. John Parrish says, I can still get into my school uniform. Oh, don't say you're not doing that now, are you, John, dressing up in school uniforms, please? Oh, God. What is wrong with people and their bleeping perversions on this channel? It's very, very strange. Yeah. And my uniform was expensive, but we all had to look exactly the same at our school, Vera says it was a posh place, the Henry Taylor place. That sounds like it. It sounds a bit posh. Henry Taylor. Is it still around, Henry Taylor? I'm going to look it up. Henry Taylor. Is that still around or not? Hello to... it's James McAllister. Hello to you. James from Amsterdam. Hello to you. Lyme disease was a thing there. Things have only just come through, James. I don't know why that is. Apple Store. Yes, you open the Apple Store app. Oh, have I got that? I don't know. Hang on. We were talking about Apple earlier, you know, when you go into the Apple store and you can just literally pick something up. He says you open the Apple store up, you need to download it and set it up, pay for it via Apple Pay, and then just walk out the store. So Apple Store. I've got Apple Store. Here it is, Apple Store. Apple Store, look. Where is it now? The blue one, isn't it? Apple Store. Look. So what if I open that up? Let me have a look at that. Open up Apple Store. Then what? What do you do then? Or do you have to be in the shop for it to work, I suppose? Something to do with the Wi-Fi, maybe? Get started. Nope. So I've got Apple Store. At the bottom it says Today, Games, Apps, Arcade and Search. What do you do with it? Let me click my photograph. Recommendations. Oh, I've got to do some updates. I'll do those later. I usually check those first thing in the morning. I don't know what you do with it. I've got it open. What do I do with that, James? Let us know there. Thank you, James. And James also says you can either scan and go or other shops like Decathlon. I don't know that shop, Decathlon, have RF chips, a bit like your contactless card technology. So you just place your stuff down at the till, it scans all the chips and just pay. Wow. Funny, isn't it? Isn't it clever? All this stuff's very clever, isn't it? Cash is no longer king, is it? It's no king. What's he saying? James from Amsterdam, an inch to scratch. Lyme disease. Dan Woodhouse, school. I burnt my school clothing apart from my old school tie, which I used to hold up to the ball cock in the lavvy. You got trouble with your ball cock, have you? No, Henry Taylor, the shop isn't there anymore, says Vera. The supermarkets put them out of business. It's sad, isn't it? All these shops going. I hope we don't lose John Lewis. It's game over. Once you lose John Lewis, that's it, isn't it? Really? We already lost Debenhams. I think it's very, very sad. George says you go on to search, Chris, and then search for the scanner thing, do you? Oh, what scanner thing? Tiny scanner? Oh, I don't know what to do. You see, the trouble is I wouldn't be able to do it. It's too complicated for me, something like that. I'd probably go into the Apple store, pick something up, and then have to go and ask someone how to use it. Well, you might as well just give them the bloody money, mightn't you? You know? Right, well, I think it's time to disappear there. Oh, look, it's 20... I can't believe it's 20 past 10 tonight. We've had a bit of a good chat tonight, haven't we? Huh? Have you enjoyed our little chat tonight? I hope you have. Where's my music now? Is it there? Can't find my music now. Oh, hang on. Is it there? There it is. Couldn't find the music for a moment. That's it for the show tonight. Thanks very much to those of you that tipped. A couple of tips tonight. Thank you very much for your tips there. And also, thank you those of you that did the little thumbs up, the like the show thing. If you haven't done already, if you could just do that on the way out, just hit the little like thing going up there at the bottom of the screen there, all right? I'm back on the radio tomorrow morning. There I am. Reach on air tomorrow morning between 9 and 10 o'clock. If you're not doing anything tonight, Alan Ross is on at midnight. Also, if you go to reachonair.com right now, my very, very good friend Ross Patzelt is there. He'll be entertaining you on there until 11 o'clock tonight, okay? And if you do listen to him, please send him a little message. Say, oh, hello, we've just been listening to Chris. He sent us over there. And you're like Ross, is talks a little bit bloke in a pub type thing. All right, we'll just do one more message from James, who says, no, you're using the App Store. You need the Apple Store. Oh, okay. I don't have that. Thank you very much, James. Yes, and there'll be another chat show for you on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Thanks for watching and listening. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. I'm going to go and watch Holby City now, and maybe another episode of Clarkson's Farm. Ta-da!